Hey, we're live.
We're doing it. Ashley.
How's it going? Happy Friday.
Hello and welcome everyone for episode 2 of Freelance Fridays, the show where we get 4 creatives in the room and we talk about one central question together. We unpack it for as long as it needs to be done. We will beat that horse to death, and I'm really excited about our guest today. Ashley, who's joining us today?
Yeah, today we've got our buddies Zeke Tucker and Mikey Sackrider,
What?
Designs. Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up?
Dang, Ashley missed the white t-shirt memo.
Oh shoot, my bad, guys.
No,
Zeke's isn't white. Purple. That's purple.
Yeah,
his is
yeah.
purple.
Oh, okay.
Lavender.
Yeah. I
Get
love
with it. Come on.
Well, awesome, guys. I am particularly excited to have these two amigos on today. One, because I've been on Instagram Live with you guys before, and I know each of you in your own right is tons of fun and has lots of great, interesting notes and takeaways. Both of you have served in church ministry and have kind of like, I don't know, you've been around, you've done the thing a few times. And today's topic is one that I think you need a few laps under your belt in order to answer really effectively. And Ashley, do you want to ask her? Actually, today's question is brought to you. We're going to start doing this. We're going to have the person who asks the question. We're going to feature you on the episode. Wow.
Oh.
Today's asker is Josh Whiting. It's me. Wow.
Nice. Congratulations.
Congratulations. If you got a question you want answered, we've got a few of them, a few great questions already racked up for the next couple of episodes.
Yeah.
But you can leave it in the comments, either in the live broadcast, or if you're restreaming this later, feel free to drop it in the YouTube comments, and we will consider it for a future episode. Ashley.
The question we have from our contributor, Josh Whiting, is what is the best investment you have made for your business?
And these questions are like, we got some room to like riff on these puppies. So this can be like a financial investment, a time investment. It could be a piece of equipment. It could be a soft, squishy thing. It could be a tangible thing in your office or software, whatever. So guys,
should we go in alphabetical order? So Mikey first.
Oh, that's not fair. Zeke wins every time.
Zeke wins every time.
I would say I have 2 answers. Is that okay? One of them's like a physical thing, and the other one is not quite as physical. The first one is probably my baby at home, my iMac. That is what I use.
I thought you were talking about your child, like your child.
I did too.
Well, I do have those as well. But no, this one's a little bit different. So my iMac at home is the computer that I learned Photoshop, which that wasn't that long ago, believe it or not. But I learned that you use that to learn Photoshop and everything to kind of get where I'm right now. So it just kind of has like a special place. Whenever I see it, I'm like, man, that's the home throne. Like that's the winner right there. So that's probably like and that was something that like my wife and I had to talk about, financially, because they're not cheap.
Yeah.
Like,
the
all right, I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna pay itself off at some point. And it did, which is cool. So yeah, I would say that.
I want to unpack this one a second. So you've got your home like Mac Mini set up, and then do you have like a separate thing like at an office somewhere, or do you have like a laptop, or like that's your main whip, your ride or die? You can only work at your desk at home, or like I don't know, just like tell me about your working opportunities.
Because I work full time at a church. I do my freelance stuff at night. So like when the kids are in bed, that's when I jump on the iMac and do that. Now I have a MacBook for work because I do some graphic stuff and a little bit of video stuff for the church I'm at. So I use that. And then I work for another company part-time, which I have an iPad Pro through them. So that's because a lot of that stuff is a little bit more illustration based.
Okay.
A little different design type, but yeah. So as far as like my main, like my favorite, it's probably just my personal computer at home.
Word.
Yeah. Cause I got to make it the way I wanted to make it. So
that's one for awesome. Me. Like, I don't know. I haven't been chained to a desk in probably a decade, in the sense that like I've always made the call. I'll like get other screens, get other stuff, but like I got to go laptop. And it used to be like, oh, I have to go to like client meetings, go to offices, things like that. And now it's just like, I can't imagine not being able to like tote this bad boy with me, but tons of people do it. And some people really want that separation from like work and play. And like, this is my work zone. And I don't want that to like come with me to other categories. For me, it's nice, like refresher to be able to go out to coffee shop or work at a friend's house or work on the road when we're driving somewhere. Like, but that's interesting. Just trying that on for size. Like what if all you have is that one dedicated space? It does make the, cut off work thing a little bit more, a little bit easier if you're a workaholic or a budding workaholic.
Yeah. I mean, the probably the best scenario would be when I get to at church, I have my office here and I plug my Mac into like a monitor display. And I like that because then I can unplug it and take it somewhere else and work if I want. So no, I get that too. I don't think I have a preference. I think I do both. It just depends on how I'm feeling. So, but yeah, I've never taken an iMac to Starbucks. I know people do that. I just think it's kind of weird. I'm not going to judge them, but I would never do that. So
you take your shoes off and you're like sitting on your like feet cross-legged and you got your whole like setup in there.
Bro, there are some lurkers in Starbucks where they camp out, man. And it's like, all right, you've been here long enough, bud. But
do you guys have one of these though?
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that the
It
best?
looks fake.
It's real.
It does look fake.
This was mine when I was like 10.
It looks like
Isn't
a
it amazing?
toy.
I want to have somebody like make it work again because it doesn't work. Well, it'll work if
so-
I can plug it in, but I like want it to have all of, like the guts from my MacBook and put it in there. That'd be so
just
sick.
like put it like as a husk for your.
I wonder
your
if you
real
get
functional.
Yeah, I wonder if you
Like,
get
hey,
like
look
a
at Ashley
MacBook
breaking
Air.
this out in the.
That'd be cool.
I wonder if you get like a MacBook Air and like put it inside it. Find a way.
You know,
You can still use
what my like crazy pants like knee jerk reaction was when you whipped that up, as I said, oh, that looks like a Walkman for like a dinosaur, like a huge like Walkman.
It's so heavy. It literally, like when I just lifted it right now, it hurt my shoulder. Like my shoulder hurts now. It's so heavy. It's like 15 pounds. Like it's super heavy.
I love to see it. I guys, I apologize if I'm a little like off my rocker today. I've probably ingested like 1,500 milligrams of caffeine so far. I went on like a coffee crawl before this, and I thought I was doing a good job pacing myself and like not finishing every cup, and I did not. I have finished too many.
Wait,
cups.
was this like an organized coffee crawl, or you're just calling like your coffee experience a coffee crawl? Like, was it like an actual thing?
It was kind of organized. I was showing a guy the coffee shops in Augusta from out of town.
There we go.
Dang.
All right.
Going hard.
Mikey, you said you have two. Let's hear one from Zeke first, real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, I have. First off, tell me if my internet is lagging or anything. I can try to find another one. I just want to make sure.
You're good.
Okay, I tried to find the best place in the house. I have my obvious favorite, and then kind of later on, my second one is an emotional investment that I made. So my like work favorite, the iPad Pro. Is what I use constantly.
Huge.
That's a big deal. It's like the
it's
size
the
of your
big one.
torso.
I invested in the big one, and I love it. It's like I think I used someone's who was the smaller one once, and I was like, I can't do this. I was like, it's got to be comparable to the size of a piece of paper, 8.5 by 11. So it's a little larger. So I was like, I have to go with the big guy. But I think I had an old one. It's still here. Once I bought that and I had the Apple Pen, it was a game changer, because I think most of the things, if anyone looks at my Instagram, I think 98% of it is made on my iPad Pro in Procreate. So most of it I do on there. Even the things for the reels where I handwrite something and then put it as like a PNG over a video or something.
That's cool.
It's mostly Procreate on my iPad Pro. It is like my best friend. I will take it everywhere, and if I'm feeling that itch to create something, I'll just sit down and try to create. 3 to 5 things at a time because I can't like dedicate and create a piece of art every day. So I try to create multiple things at a time. So that's my go-to. Everything. What's funny is most things for my work, like 95% of them I make in Photoshop on my computer, on my laptop. But like most things for my art are straight from Procreate and my iPad Pro.
So even your like
That's
collage style stuff, that's all Procreate?
Yeah, that's all Procreate. Normally, if I can't find good PNGs, I'll use like Unsplash or one of those free things for some vintage photography, and then I'll just straight up erase around it and then stack them on top of each other. Add a few graphic elements, and then that's typically how I do that. That's how I do it. That's how I do it.
I'm a simple
I don't know.
boy.
I just love it, and I love that I have full range with a pen and stuff like that, and I'm not wasting. I make so many mistakes that if I did it on paper, oh man, it'd be over. I would have gone through a forest of trees by now. So this is the better option.
No, and awesome. When you're talking about like cutting out stuff for collage style art like that, when I was doing a bunch of that, like it is so time consuming to cut out like 12 pieces for like one design. And so thinking about doing that inside of Procreate, like, I don't know why I've never thought of that. Like, that makes a ton of sense, but my brain goes, no, that's a Photoshop task. And like, but yeah, that's absolutely a Procreate move. I love that.
Yeah, that is definitely what I do. Anything when it's hand drawn, hand lettering, or collage style specifically, things where I have to erase around certain things, it is Procreate every time.
It's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Save your second one. Ash, what you got?
I will.
You know what's funny is I actually have two answers too. One is like a physical thing, and then one is like an emotional thing. Physical is my MacBook Pro for sure. Like that's obviously I can't do work without that.
Sure.
And that's my go-to guy. Also like another physical thing is my Cricut. Like I love that thing that I make like for my products and stuff.
What is a Cricut?
My Cricut. You know what a Cricut is? It's like one of those
die
cut machines. That's been huge for my
that's
retail
right
stuff. I love that.
I need to get your tips on that because my nana, my grandmother, she went through like four of them. She went Gam. She went through like 4 of them and started like giving them to all of her grandchildren because she was like, I can't do this anymore. She was like, I have no time. I don't want to do this.
Wait,
so she started giving
cards?
To us. She doesn't make anything. Like, I mean, I don't mean that. Like, she doesn't make anything to sell. She like makes things. She would make things for the house, make things for friends and stuff like that. But she gave me this, like, it's sitting over in the corner, and me and my wife haven't like touched it yet. Like, we've been watching YouTube videos, but I want to take some of my things and make like. I am always so impressed by your keychains and all of your stuff like that, and I'm just like, that is the stuff. But it's sitting in the corner, and I'm just like, I gotta open up this Cricut. Like, it's not. It is not a Cricut. Is not just for like 45-year-old stay-at-home moms. They're the champions. I'm not saying there's anything less than that, but it's not. That was what it's like. That's what it's like geared to. And then my grandmother. Those are who I thought was
like card making. I started
watching YouTube videos. I started watching YouTube videos, and I was like, oh my gosh! I was like, this is an everybody tool. So I have to jump into that.
Yeah, super cool stuff. Yeah, it took me a hot minute to figure out like the calibration and how to get it to work, but. Yeah, I love it. Like it makes so much. I mean, honestly, that and then my printer too. My printer has been like a game changer as far as products, obviously, but yeah, both of them. But they're fun.
I mean, this is cool. So like making your own like decals and stuff would be an opportunity here.
Stickers, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Also, without y'all's context, I would have 1,000% been calling this thing a cry cut for who knows how long. That's my cry cut.
I thought that's what it is called, but then it has like the old logo has a little like antennas on it, so I think it's a Cricut. I don't know.
Yeah, we have a dusty one at home, so I would also like to know how to use ours. So
yeah, they're super.
There we go. We need a master class. We need
episode 5 Cricut, Cricut wireless, and and then I got like slightly dyslexic, and I'm thinking like circuit. Nope. So I don't know. I don't know if I would have approved that name. Spelling and choice there, but hey,
it's fine.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
All right, so
what
for
about
mine, well, I have 43, and so we'll start with the one. As any question, that's what I tell people. Like when I'm getting ready to be interviewed on a show or something, I'm like, be careful with me because you ask me like, hey, Josh, what's your name? Tell us a little bit about yourself. 20 minutes later, I'm like, all right, question 2. Like, just,
Right.
I gotta like shut it off. So I tried to get cute, guys. I said like, well, of course I need a computer to work. And I think that's fair to say. And I don't want to like gloss over that. Because if you're thinking about getting into this space or like thinking about like, okay, of all the things that I need to get, that's absolutely number one. And you can do like, you don't need, you know, fancy keyboard, mouse setup, like whatever cute desk thing. You don't have to have those things. You have to have some kind of computer to do the work. And investing in, well, I guess this is a great little segue into what my kind of spiel here is. My mentor, boss, like guy that showed me the ropes on Adobe Creative Suite way back in the day. He said a line that has stuck with me. Like, if you touch it every day and it makes money, invest in it. Like don't skimp on that stuff. And obviously that doesn't mean go like, well, Josh said it, or Josh's mentor guy said it. Like, I need the $6,000 Mac tower for the house, honey. We're going to try out and launch this graphic design business. And like, okay, babe, like we got to, no, that's not what I'm saying. But like, it's like there's within the curbs of like reason and budget and all that. Like, don't feel bad about like it should pay for itself, like you guys are saying. And that puts things in a totally different light, totally different category. When you're not only investing in yourself and your clients, but the thing will earn back money. Like it's just a whole different shebang. So that's kind of the lens that I look at everything through. So I'm like, okay, what's in front of me all the time? Like obviously keyboard and mouse. And one thing that didn't really cost any money, it cost a little bit of time, but it was like a big like turn corner for me mentally and in my business and in like the money I started making, was opening a business checking account. Now I didn't have like my business like formally structured. I didn't have like, it was still like sole proprietorship. I basically did like 4 farts of paperwork. Like it wasn't anything, like it was nothing fancy. I had no lawyers involved, like no startup fees. And I just went into my local bank and said like, hey, I want a business checking account finally. And I'd been like freelancing, moonlighting for 8-10 years at that point. So it was not like, I'd been operating like mixing it in with personal finances for years. And finally I said, let's separate these things. Yeah. And I can't say why, but once you separate it out and like, I'm giving this weight and attention, I'm calling this thing a business, which is what it is. I made more money that year than I ever had doing projects on the side. And it still at that point was a very much like a side gig kind of thing. And so I can't really articulate what the difference was, but it was a massive like shift mentally for me once I did that. All right.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Like same thing. Like once I made a separate account, it makes, I don't know, it's almost like a mental thing. Like it makes it feel like it's more important or something. I don't know. Like
I think it feels real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're not like, oh, this is my little like whatever on the side.
Like yeah.
Yeah, like,
exactly.
Who knows where the side money? No, the side money comes from the side business type of thing, you know? All right, Mikey, what you got for number 2?
Oh man, what a perfect segue. So I mean, it actually is. That wasn't a joke. But I will say right now I'm kind of in a place where I'm like investing in
crypto.
I don't know if Bitcoin, all the Doge. I am investing in just my own personal time. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but I'm actually like I've taken a major step back from a lot of different things in my life. Like I'm not on Instagram. I haven't been in like a month. So I've been like super silent.
I love that for you.
I just deleted it. And I'm reading The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, which I know is a big book that a lot of people talk about.
I'm reading that right now too.
It's amazing.
And did not delete my Instagram. Instead, I just kept chugging along at 1,000 miles an hour.
Well, it's interesting. Like I just had probably not because of that book, but this book has definitely helped. I had like a really big moment with God where I hit 10,000 followers on Instagram, and it was like he pummeled me with conviction. like I've never felt before with anything in my life. I mean, that's not an exaggeration. It was really intense. I brought it to my wife. I brought it to a good friend of mine. And just like, I've just taken so much space away from everything. I have like basically a client and a half right now, which sounds crazy, but I just have pushed pause on everything. So it's weird being on Freelance Friday while I'm doing this.
Well, thank you for taking a reprieve between what God told you explicitly to do to be a guest on the show. That's fantastic.
All right, let's pray. Let's end in prayer. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I mean, there's I could talk about this for hours. The coolest thing, I'll keep it super short. The coolest thing about this is a couple things. I've never felt healthier in my life, ever.
Love that.
I feel like my marriage is the best. I feel like my relationship with my kids is the best. It's just made a huge difference in my life. I don't feel anxious anymore as much. So another thing with that is because of this time, God has kind of allowed me to think about my freelance stuff and my design endeavors in a different way. So when I do come back, because I am going to come back, I have a lot more ideas. I've had time to pray over it. I've had time to just process it. And like what you guys are talking about with the separate account, I don't have one. I'm still pretty new to all of this. It's been like within the last 3 years for me that I've been doing this stuff on the side. So like I'm just trying to get things better. I want my freelance to be healthy, just like I'm becoming healthy. Yeah. And I think it's going to be a really cool thing, and I feel like God is going to bless. I mean, I know He'll bless it because of this time that I have spent away. So, that's kind of where I'm at. So that's my investment. I don't really know how to sum that up in one word, but I'm just trying to like really take some time for myself and my family and with Jesus. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Yeah, Zeke, what's your number 2, boo?
Mine's the same. When he started talking, I was like, okay, good. This is a theme. I was like,
we'll go in there.
Zeke, Zeke, you're gonna be too emotional. It's gonna be like it's gonna be. I was like, don't do one of those. I can't even explain it any other way than like when a pastor is like he's like, this is what I'm really gonna talk about, and then he like kind of switches the script, and it's like, what is the best investment you made? And mine is peace. Yeah, mine is peace. Like, I mean, I do not have a full-time job right now, technically. My wife doesn't have a full-time job, technically. I have less clients than I've ever had. Money is not maybe the best it's ever been, but we've never been happier. And I've never been, I don't know. It was just like the Lord had to rip some things away from me in the last year, as most of you are probably, you've been in the same boat. I lost 2 jobs. Actually, all 4 of us. Just like one wouldn't pay me. Who cares about that? But the other one was my church that I like. I mean, I was in love with my church, and I still love them. Absolutely love all those people, and would take a bullet for them if it came to it. I wouldn't be like the happiest about it, but I'd still take a bullet for them.
I would begrudgingly take a bullet.
Yeah, I'd be like,
I would take a little bit of a shotgun pellet. Like, give me a little bit of spray.
Yes, like I wouldn't want it to like end in death, but I was like, I'd take some shotgun spray. Yeah, exactly. But it was like a crushing moment where I lost that job, and then my eyes were opened slowly. Okay, first off, I lost that job and then went into a job that took more time, and I was like, this is better because the pay is better. And it wasn't because it didn't matter if the pay was better when we got paid. It didn't matter when the pay was better. It just, like, I still was so anxious all the time, and I'm not a naturally anxious person. But I am if you know anything about the Enneagram, I hate it when people bring it up constantly, but I'm an Enneagram 3. So I was like, I got to be the best. I got to have a good presence. I got to do all this stuff. I got to do whatever. Sure. So I'm a go-getter most of the time. So it is crazy to me to sit back and to try to work on things, be in my mind, because I don't like silence. I like music all the time. Just everything is entertaining. I have to succeed. So when I step back from that, or when I was made to step back from that, I really started to analyze some things and realize that I do not love working, 8-hour days, 5 days a week. It is not something I want to do. Like, it is not something I feel like we should be doing either. Like, I'll go further than that. It's not, I think family is the friends, that needs to be your second. Jesus needs to be your first. I know I won't preach, but then after that, work is like, maybe 10th. Maybe it's there for me now. And I don't know. All of that was taken from me. The Lord pushed me and my wife, like when the things were going down with that one company. I was like holding on. I was gripping it tightly and be like, I have to have this money because my wife was about to quit her job. Because I was making enough money that I was like, that's fine, we can do that. And then it was like a month out and I was like, I'm losing this job. Like, this is not going to be a thing. And I was like, do you still feel like you want to quit? Because I feel like you need to quit. And she was like, I do too. And I was like, here we go. Let's do this. So we both quit our jobs that month. And I still do freelance design all the time. It's my morning routine, basically, with the 3 or 4 people that I have, 3 or 4 clients that I absolutely love. And they've been there for years. And I'll do, side projects and stuff like that. But that piece, I'm pulling a Josh right now, and you asked me one question and I went off. I just kept going.
Hey, that's what this show is for, baby.
Thank you. So my wife and I quit our jobs, and we've been a part of this missions organization for years. We make documentaries for, not me personally. I go on the missions trips and make graphics for the organization and stuff. But we make documentaries for the.
Ashley's dog is having an exorcism.
Attacking someone. Yeah,
sounds like the dog from Harry Potter.
Yeah, like 3-headed.
Right.
What's his name? Fang.
Yeah.
Yo, Zeke. So just I need the quick visual I had is all right. We're in Honduras or wherever, and everybody's out here like moving cinder blocks, like painting the orphanage, like handing out water bottles, and Zeke's over here like designing graphics over in the AC and like drinking Coke. Like is that the
exactly.
right?
Okay,
what perfect.
It's like
we're doing great work, guys.
Right. I can do the hard work, but I'm much better behind the behind the computer.
You want me clicking? You want me clicking and punching buttons?
Exactly. I try to do both. So now what? My wife and I basically quit our jobs and we're working full time with. Full time as much as we can. Our salaries are basically like when people want to. What's it called? When people want to give to us, that's basically our salaries. But we give as much time as we can to this missions organization. I make all the graphics for them. They have we have a conference, so we do. So that's a ton of conference graphics. We send out letters every month. We do magazines. We do storybooks for kids in their language. So when we go, we can hand them out and they can color and all that stuff. So I get to do all this. So cool. That's my favorite thing that I get to do. And then I still get to work with all these churches that I've loved and have worked with for several years. And they really, like, the Lord has helped us because that keeps us afloat. And we've been trusting in the Lord with that. But it's like getting to dive into something that I cared so deeply about is it's just been the best thing in the world. Like, I would have had to, thinking about having a full-time job and having to ask off for the missions trips that I've gone on, because I've been out of the country for 30 days out of the last 60 in just random countries, and we've been making these documentaries to highlight these missionaries and tell people about them here in the US so they can then give to them and help us, all that kind of stuff. So I would have had to like ask off from work, and I was like, that's 30 days in the last 2 months. Feel like it wouldn't have been possible. And the Lord just keeps, people keep sponsoring us, and then I keep getting like side jobs from people who are like, hey, we can pay you a huge amount of money. Can you do this? And it takes me like 2 hours. And I'm like, thank you, God. I mean, I guess this is great. Yeah. But that piece where my wife and I got to go, like have lunch the other day. And that's just like, she worked 10-hour days and I would work, 8-hour days and then do freelance. And I thought I loved it. I really thought I loved it. And then I step back and I go, holy moly. Like, that piece where I have time, which I think is so vital for a creative, that piece when you have time to think and sit and just like listen to, like, I don't know, listen to the record player, which is what I like to do, and go on a walk and do that stuff. Like, if you do not have time to be creative, you are not going to be creative. If you don't have time to, get out of, you're just like producing things for other people, then it really stifles that creativity. And now I've been able to do that to the point where I go, I could be creative right now, but I don't have to be. So I can like sit here
not
and
driven.
I don't know. I'm not, it's just that is my second thing. And I went on a huge rabbit trail. I apologize, but
no, that's awesome.
it was the piece the peace and the time, like having my time
Yeah.
is so much more valuable to me than the money that comes if I sacrifice that time. Like for the most part, you got to work. I mean, you got to pay the bills. So I'm still doing that,
Yeah.
but I'm finding that mixture where I'm fine with not, making $1 million, which I was never even, close, even minimally close to that. But like that drive to like, oh, I got to make, $100,000 a year as a graphic designer. And now I'm just like, I don't care if I can pay my bills and I get to enjoy life. That's what I'm doing.
What I love is that neither one of you guys are doing like, oh, like minimalist life, like, or, oh, fire, like financial independence, retire early, or like any of that stuff, because those things can be like symptoms of like a fruitful life, or like not symptoms, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the fruit of like a healthy life. But like it really, both of y'all's journeys, and this has been kind of a similar thing that I've had earlier this year, was like huge amount of risk, very scary. But like when you say yes to God, like whether it's in little stuff or big stuff or like career moves or whatever, and you're doing the thing that you need to do, he always takes care of it.
Every time.
And
every time.
Does that mean everybody should be living in mansions that obeys God? Like, no, but like
No.
there is peace. There's like the internal side of it that's like rich. And then like you're saying, like you're living open-handedly, and like God takes care of you in ways that you just never expected. And that is something that is so cool about, I don't know, like I don't want to say like, Christian designers compared to regular designers. Like, I'm not saying that, but I think it's something that we have in common here on this live that, I wasn't planning on talking about. Like, frankly, my second item is about to feel very mundane and and like zero. It's like, is Josh a Christian? Or like, I don't know, like Mikey and Zeke get on here and they have like profound thoughts and are like, listen, walking in step with God. And Josh is about to talk about like tchotchkes in his office. So
I thought this was like a Bible study. Am I wrong? I thought small group.
We're all supposed to come with a word.
Small group.
Yeah.
All right, Ash, what's your number 2? And because Zeke talked for 48 minutes, you have 18 seconds.
Okay, here we go.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
I'm just kidding. No, he did awesome.
I'm busting your chops, dog.
No, so yeah, I mean, I like both of your guys' second answers a lot, because I can definitely relate to that as far as like peace and like joy is definitely like over anything. That's like the best
Big
investment. Deal. I don't know if I would say that's an investment for me, or if that's more so like fruit of like the investment that God has, or I've like done with God throughout the years. But my one that I was going to say is the biggest investment for me and my husband and our family was having, and I know I talk about this a lot, but it was having our 2 previous businesses that we lost, like walking through that failure and walking through that, like just building like the resilience from that. That's the biggest investment. But also, honestly, just like the experience of owning a business and having to deal with clients and talk to people who aren't necessarily happy with you at all times, like and how to communicate well and to not get my feelings hurt if people don't like what I'm doing. Like that definitely came with running both businesses throughout the years. And I don't know, it's almost like made like I said, a resilience in that, like I'm not scared to fail again. Like, obviously I don't want like my freelance business now to like go under or anything, but if it did, I'm like, I know God's going to come through, because he always did. Like, even like same thing, like you were saying, Zeke, like throughout the years with the previous business, like my husband has like a steady, stable job now. So we don't ever like worry about that now. But like back in the day, like literally every month, like we would be like, okay, we don't know how we're going to pay rent this month, but somehow God would come through every month and always buy us. We'd always have food for groceries. We'd always have food, like, money for groceries and things like that. And like, I don't know, it's almost like, because going through those 2 things, I think that investment for me has built a trust in knowing that God's going to come through for me regardless. And that gives me that joy and that peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's another one, and it's an interesting tension in what we do for a living too. Like you've got to try really hard. You've got to care. You've got to like you can't like a lot of times the place I would go hide when I'm trusting God in any capacity is like I would just go say, oh well, I'm not gonna have nice things, or oh I'm not gonna have I'm not gonna enjoy my life, or I'm not gonna get to do the work that I want to do, and like you just like kill your heart kind of thing. And that's not it. Nor is the like hanging on to that thing like you're gonna kill it if you like hang on to it too. And so what you guys are describing is, or what I meant was with the tie-in with like the work that we're doing is, you know, we have to care a lot about the creative project, and then you pitch it to the client and hope that they like it and be able to like pour your soul into it, but also be big enough to pivot if it like doesn't fit for any reason. And that is a really difficult balance and a really difficult place to camp out. But I also think there's so much like good fruit and cool stuff there.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring it back down to things that are not spiritual or meaningful. Josh's answer. So my answer for number 2 is office art. So making the space that you're going to spend, like you spend more time with your work colleagues and at your desk than you do with your spouse in most cases, right? And so like there's a lot of times where you're sitting in this like you like are uncomfortable, like because things are physically spaced wrong, or like it's boring to look at, or you know, whatever. And you're just like, I hate being here, and it is not exciting to sit at this desk and do the thing that I have to do. And you know, obviously, like I was actually just looking for a photo of like my old setup when I got kicked out of my office at our old house. It was literally just the desk that I'm on, my like hat shelf back here, which oh goodness, right here. That was freaky. And one print was all I had. So I don't want everybody to say like, oh well, of course, like you got to spend like you got to have 80 posters up behind you for you to be happy. No, like start with little stuff. Like when I first was like baby designer Josh, at like some of the guys at the office were doing the same thing. They were like they're big into like art prints, and it was affordable stuff, like under $50. And so I found one or two things that I like, got an IKEA frame, threw it up, and I was like, I feel happier to be here now, right?
Yeah.
And like that's the kind of stuff that like I've also worked in some crazy places. Like at one of the old churches I worked at, I wanted to be by myself if I could, like rather than being like the bullpen. And so I actually worked inside of the kids' church room, which was mostly empty during the week. And they had like a little store, like where the kids would go get prizes if they do good, whatever. And so they had built a tiki hut inside the room. And so I worked inside of a tiki hut.
That's awesome.
And the
That's
exciting part, I like cut off all the lights, brought a lamp in there. So it's like low light, kind of vibey. The exciting thing though was Fridays. That was also a computer lab for the church school. So a bunch of like fourth graders would come in there, turn on the lights, and set up all around me. I got my headphones on, and then they would all leave.
Oh my gosh!
But I guess I say that to illustrate, like, I needed a $12 lamp from Walmart to be happier with the space that I was in. Like, you don't have to go have dedicated space. You don't have to have super nice equipment. My chair that I'm sitting on is falling apart, and I'm going to upgrade it and replace it. But it's more just like blessing what you have and choosing to like do what you can to enjoy the space that you're in, the process. And like, it makes me happy to walk in here and like, I could look at every inch of this room and go memories, meaning, inspiration, like happy vibes. And I'm decorating this for me, not for, you know, clients or to impress people or to bring people up here and show them. Like I would do this if no one ever saw it, just cause it's like a little cave, floor to ceiling with all my like stuff that I like I always butcher the name Zeke, but I always want to call them like Binkos or like fuzz
Funko Pops,
bunk bongs. Yeah, like
Binkos. That's what they are.
I'm such a grandpa. I'm like, you know,
those little bingo
poppers,
toys.
the pop boys.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's funny.
Yes, I have to. I mean, clearly that is important to me too. And I want to think I'm a minimalist. Like the rest of my house, it's pretty minimal. Has a bunch of color, but then I walk in and I go, oh my gosh, like maybe that's like controlled chaos. But that is that might be almost. That. I mean, it's maybe not more important than peace, but that factor of like having a space that I am in love with. I can't, like, there are days where I'm super busy and I'm like, I gotta clean my office or I'm not gonna get anything done. Like I have to make sure that everything is put away. Like it bothers me that this piece of paper is right here, and I'm gonna have to move it here in a second. But like I have to have everything just like that is so vital for me to be creative. And I normally like I have like a few toys that are like on my desk because I'm like I have to have the ones that like mean something to me, like this tiger. I don't know why, but look at that thing. Like I have to have swollen tiger. No, it's just this little fat tiger that took like 6 months to get here because it was from Japan or something. I don't know. Cool. But it brings me joy every time I look at it. So I put it right here next to this lava lamp because I'm like, that is the type of stuff. I've shown my son like when you've posted stories of your Funkos and he like freaked out because he collects them, not like to your degree, but he has probably like 20 of them now. But he loves like all like the Marvel and like the superhero ones. So that's like his thing. But he did get one it's my favorite. It's Post Malone. Do you have that one? That's awesome. Cool. I do not.
Yeah, he's got like little tattoos and stuff. That one's my favorite.
I hope that it never got to this, but it did. So tell him caution your son.
Well, it's funny lightly. At least your wife is cool with you putting them up on shelves. I have mine buried in a closet because Tara's like, I don't know what to do with these. I'm like, I have some ideas. Like, can we?
Tara, I think the kitchen. I think they need to be. Bro, here's your move. Like they're not on display, but they are in kitchen cabinets. So when guests come over and they open like the plate cabinet, there's one guy here. There's like you open a drawer, there's one looking up at you. It's
right
in the bathroom.
It's Post Malone.
Exactly. My wife is really cool. She's really cool with them. She's cool with the space. I prefer that they're in my office though. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna close the door. If we need our house to look, like a little less insane, then we'll do that. Yeah. But we did get go ahead.
My office definitely looks very different than the rest of our house.
Yeah. It's necessary. This is the most colorful place in our house, I think. It's just like, it's everywhere.
Here's an interesting question. I kind of need some help with this actually, because at home, like we live in a really small like townhouse, and every room is our kids. It's our bedroom, and then like our like living room. So we don't have like a good space. I don't have like an office, and then like even here at church, I have like a cubicle, and that's it. I've never had like my own office. So like this is constantly a struggle for me because it's like I always feel like I could be that much more creative if I was somewhere a little bit that felt more creative. So it's like I feel like I'm constantly walking around my church looking for areas, but then like people come in and it's like, or the AC's not on, and I'm like, what kind of church is this? So it's like, but I can't find, and like coffee shops sometimes are a little too crazy and hectic. So it's like, it's really hard for me, but like seeing you guys and like your spaces, I'm like that would be really
well. Fun. I work at my kitchen table, so my space is not like that. Awesome.
Ash is in the she's in the eye of the storm.
Yeah, I like being right here. Well, the kids are in school now, but I always just worked from the kitchen table just so I can watch my kids while I work. But now, we have enough like rooms to have my own dedicated office, but I just haven't done it, and I don't know. I like living or being in my living room. It's my area.
It's good to know.
Yeah, I've got a great quick answer for you, Mikey. Here.
Okay.
Step one: get you like a nice like Ozark tent from Walmart. Throw it up in your backyard and tell your kids, "This is where you live now. This is your place." And then you take one of their rooms. You got an office.
So they're living in the tent. I'm not.
Yeah, they're.
I thought his office was the tent, and I was like, that may not work. But if it's a kid, that'll work.
No, you've got to stay in a good. You've got to be taken care of, dog.
You got to prioritize your peace.
Just throw some crackers and cheese cubes and like some toys. They'll be fine. Like they're good.
Like, do you see the way that kids live on their own? Like they want that. They're asking for that without saying it. And Tara's also, she's down here in the comments, and she's also okayed it already. So I'll send you one from Amazon here.
Okay.
This problem will be fixed in 3 days.
I feel like but for real. I'm going to be on a desk in the tent. That's what's going to happen. It's going to turn into that. So just sweating.
Yeah, the kids aren't going to be out in the tent.
No.
All right. No, for real though. So I had in our old house is like a little ranch style, like 3-bedroom deal. I had a dope office. It was like a nice little like square, medium-sized room. It was like a bedroom for a 70s style house. I had my like huge like amps in there and like all my stuff and like all my monitors and stuff. And then lo and behold, little Bambino shows up and kicks me out. And so dad's back out in the common area again. And at that time, I'm doing a similar kind of deal as you. Like I'm working at an agency during the day, and then come home, and I moved that desk out into a common area. And so rather than there wasn't room physically for me to throw up on my art again. I had like a little footprint of my desk, and I had my shelf like I just described. And what I found was it wasn't about like the art as much as the mental space. And so it was time of day ended up being the magic sauce for me. So I would like put everybody to bed. My wife goes to bed early. And then obviously like babies, do their thing. Babies self-sustain 100%. So that's an easy one.
In their
They got
tent.
it. They're fine.
Put them in the tent.
They're fine. They're fine.
Outside. They're good.
That's my experience from being a parent is like kids are very easy and just kind of handle themselves.
Meanwhile, your wife's like with them 24/7. It's so easy.
like crying.
She's like, he doesn't understand.
No, I literally like I bump into guys and like I see like their energy levels and I'm like, you got way too much pep in your step to be a father of a 7-month-old. Like, what is your home life like? Like, you need to leave the golf course. You need to go home right now.
Right.
And like, that's a whole separate thing. What I was getting at, I was doing the longest possible way of saying, one of the magic things for me was knowing I'm going to have 3 to 4 hours to be alone. It's going to be quiet and I can like get in the zone at night and like have a space.
Yeah.
And then work wise, like how do you create a space at your cubicle so that it's more exciting? Like, I don't think anybody's going to be sad. I don't know if you've read the Pixar book, Creative Inc. I was thinking because like Buzz Lightyear's like conducting an orchestra. It talks about like managing a creative team.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff in there. Like the culture of Pixar was, hey, like you've got your cubicle, you go nuts. Like some people would build like paper mache castle that they go walk into and they dress like a princess while they're at work or whatever. Like, I mean, obviously, that's a pretty extreme example, but like, could you put like plaster the inside of your thing with posters if you're a maximalist like I am? And if you buy, like you invest in like some nice headphones. So you are like in your little space and like you got a lamp at your desk and hey guys, you cool if we turn off the overhead light here? And like what are little things you can do that are still like kosher with the crew to just like, what's one step closer to you being more happy at work, I guess, if you will.
Even just more simply, just like if you don't have a dedicated cubicle, like if you want it to feel creative, decorate your laptop with stickers or your water bottle or whatever, like just to make it feel like it's
right.
It's your space and your stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I pulled this up. This is David Lamb. This is one of the early guys. I've got 3 of his prints. You can't see it on the camera here. But I thought I was like, Zeke might be down for this. This guy is one of the craziest. This is one that I've got.
Oh,
this brings me intense levels of joy.
Is it supposed to be ice cream of some kind walking on a tongue?
Yeah, you see this little cone hat, and he's like melty ice cream, and like what I love about this is one, obviously the composition and like the story is like, what in the world is going on here? He's walking on the tongue road. Is he happy? Is he aloof? Like who knows? Yeah, I don't know.
He's about to die.
There's a conversation to have, but the art style from this dude, it's like shiny plastic, but very by hand, and like it's just unlike most things that I have seen out there. And I was like, Zeke may be into this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm very into that.
I watched was it the last episode you had with Visual Jams, right?
Yeah.
His stuff too, like that's immediate. I got
this one too.
I think of all of you guys. Don't want to leave anybody out, but his stuff specifically, like every time I look at him, like how does he think that way? Like how does his brain take him there?
When I see one of his posts, I never have to look at the name and I go, that's Visual Jams every time.
Yeah,
he's so
got an art
specific.
style for show.
He's so specific with his style. I based 3 or 4 months of my Instagram off of one post of his that I saw, and I screenshotted it. I hope I told him this. If not, I need to tell him this. I screenshotted it and then pulled all the colors from it, and I was like, that's my color scheme for the next 3 months, because it is just like, I was like, it's genius. It makes me feel feelings I can't even fathom. He's very good at that.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, do you guys all sell prints, or have you sold prints? I'm not familiar. Again, I'm off the grid right now.
I print on Etsy.
I do. I've had digital, like where you can download the file, but
that's what I have.
I've never done physical prints, just because I don't know. It was just I would like to. Like, I actually have the printer to do it now. I just need to do it, but I just do the stickers and the keychains for now.
What printer do you have?
What's that?
What printer do you have?
It's the Epson 2800. It's so freaking good. Like, cool. It's not even like, it works so good. Like, my prints, like, let me show you a print. So like, I used to get my keychain prints printed at Staples, but now I print them at home, and like, legitimately, I don't know if you can even see, it's so crisp and clean. Like, the colors are so good, and it's like, the ink is like, you fill them up, like, it's not regular ink cartridges. It's like you fill up the ink in there. And I've had this printer for now like good 7-8 months, and I have not filled up my ink one time.
Whoa.
And I print like consistently every week. Like,
wow, that's awesome.
Is this the one, Ash?
No, it's the 2800. It's a big guy. He's a big guy. It's right here. I can show you if you want me to turn it. But yeah, that one right there.
The top one? Oh, okay, that's less. That is less than I expected.
Yeah, I was expecting
once you were talking about
that. And it's
I was
legit.
like, oh, I'm gonna have to shell out $1,000 on this.
No. It works really good.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, it prints just standard size prints. So if like you're wanting to do like massive prints, like, it's not. Right. But for what I'm doing, it's perfect. Like, it works.
Oh, that's fantastic. I just I'm still trying to get into the place where I'm just like, do I want to go to the post office every other day if things did get really good, and I'm just like, I'm having to sell these prints. So right now, all of my things on Etsy are digital download.
Yeah. Well, what a delightful key up to, and this is where like the true, like, I know people that actually like love some paper. They're good at printing. They've got their own screen printer at their shop or their house or whatever, their garage. Yeah. So this is definitely not the purest thing. Like, I'm low key going to be slightly disappointed if I buy like a $75 print and find out it's from Printful.
Yeah.
But if you're like at that lower price point doing smaller prints, and it's not like your main jam, like it's an auxiliary thing, this can be a great answer. Like, I do a lot of stuff through Printful. They take a colossal chunk of the revenue from what you sell. Like, I lose money. I've got my mugs in my shop at like quite an expensive price, and I lose money when people order them.
Oh gosh.
And so like, know that walking into it, like, this is not going to be a cash cow. But in my mind, I look at anytime somebody's like, I want to wear a Bright Coal shirt. I'm like, dang, first of all, that's awesome. Honored. Thank you for and then secondly, like, I'm categorizing that as like marketing and delight for people. So I'm okay break even or losing a little money, because I'd rather spend that on somebody wearing my t-shirt or like having my art up in their space than me spending that money on digital ads or something else that is not delightful, goes away, and it's one-sided. But Printful is a great solution. They have continued to expand their offerings. I really want this terry cloth bucket hat.
That's awesome.
I got to find something for that. But yeah, so they've got prints now is one of the things. And I've got that whole like series. I don't know if you guys remember when I was doing the As It Is in Heaven, like collages back a long time ago.
Kind of.
And people are like, oh, you should throw up those prints. And I started to go down that road for like 4 minutes the other day. And I was like,
4 minutes.
Yeah, but I have to resize all of these and like track down all those old files. And I just gave up. But like, that's the kind of thing, like, it'd be cool to have those prints up in the shop. And I think some of them might move. So there's a couple of different ways to skin that cat, though.
Now, here's a question, because I've always wondered this. Is it okay to hang your own art in your office, or is that weird? Should it only be other people's art? I don't know.
That's a polarizing one.
I think it's fine to hang up your own art. I like same kind of thing. Like, back in the day, like when we had clothing lines and stuff, I would never wear my own like design stuff, because I felt like that was super lame. It's like a band wearing their own shirt. Like, that's like not cool. You know what I mean?
I am not on the other side. I'm like my wife and I have a t-shirt company, and I basically the only graphic tees I wear are mine.
Yeah.
But I mean, they don't say my brand or anything like that. But I love that. That's actually how I became a graphic designer, is because I wanted to make art that I liked. So I made posters for myself so I could hang them, and then started to go, oh, I like this.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that's how I became a graphic designer, and why I started putting things online.
That's cool.
What about what's the name of your deal, Zeke? What, we can look it up. Joyco Printing. It's on Instagram on joy.co.printing. We are very, very small, so it is we are still starting. Joy.co.printing on Instagram. Joy.co.printing.
Josh, do you have those?
I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Are those posters available? I didn't hear what you ended on. The as it is.
It ended on interesting. Very hard, tired, moved on. Didn't ever do anything with it. That's the end of that story. These are great.
We take a bunch of we
so you thrift
a bunch of shirts. We thrift shirts, and then we print them on like stuff like that. So that is that's kind of how we run it out of our garage. Like that's basically it is the smallest version of small that we can
That's
be.
so fun, dude. And
But
each of them
you
are
guys
like
have your
unique
own
pieces.
Yeah, we have our own press, and we
Cool.
like it. Just like it culminated from a bunch of things that we liked, and I was like, I like to make shirt designs, and I don't want to pay someone else, no matter how good, to like print them. So again, yeah, that's basically what it was. So
that's cool. That's because like I said, we obviously dabbled in the print industry for many years and had lots of different presses and stuff, and don't have them anymore. But my husband, he loved printing. Like it was like more like a passion for him to do on the side. Like that's how he was creative. And so him and I have been talking about that. I think we were gonna eventually get like probably like a four station press in our garage so he can print stuff for me, because that'd be super fun. Because I'm kind of the same way, because I know how much it costs to have people print stuff for you. It's not cheap. So
yeah, like at the cheapest, it's like $10 a shirt, and our overhead. Like I mean, that's like when they're selling it to you, and that is the cheapest. The shirt sucks. You're not really sure about the quality, and at that point, you've printed like 400 of that one design, and you're like, how am I ever going to sell 400 of one shirt design?
Breaks.
Yeah, we love it. We found a really old screen press for like it's a 6. It has 6 of them on there, and it was like now it was $2,000. It was still a lot for the time, but we were like, let's it's super cheap for what it was. But cool. I'm just out here doing things that I enjoy doing. So that is if I can make money doing those things, that's what I would tell people to do as a graphic designer.
For drying it, are you guys heat pressing it, or do you have a dryer?
We have a dryer. It came with that set where it'll we just take it under there, and it's like 300 and it's like 400 degrees, and then we set it under there for like 10 seconds. We don't have one of those we don't have one of the what are they called, the conveyor belt things. That might be our next thing. Cool. But yeah, that's what we do right now. We just dabble in everything that's fun.
That's cool. That's fun.
I love it. Awesome. All right, gang. We've got 2 new segments of the show. We're trying to get a little bit more structure with this thing. Chaos within the structure. Yeah. One of those is this one's going to be a little bit more like lightning round-esque. It's called Overrated, Underrated. If you can imagine what's about to happen here, I'm going to say something, and you're going to say briefly if it's overrated, underrated, and why.
Okay.
So should we go in order? Do you want to go Mikey, Zeke, me, you? Like we've been going around the square?
Sure. Sure. Who knows? It's a carnival, guys.
Or are we just going to yell it out? Is it just like everybody just say it all the time? No?
Are we doing all the same time? Oh, okay.
All right, listen, Linda.
Listen, Linda.
So so a lot of these came in through Instagram story answers. If you guys have anything that you would like to add to this list and we discuss it, like pop those puppies off the dome. So we'll start with a pretty ubiquitous one: Adobe subscription. Overrated, underrated.
Underrated. I think it's
underrated.
Necessary.
Yeah, I think it's rated because it annoys me a lot of the time. But yeah, I definitely have it, and I will always have it. So.
In comparison to like back in the day when you had to pay like $600 just for Photoshop or whatever, $300,
Crazy.
like I think it's way worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mikey, does your hat have a wolf on it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Scoot in. Let me see that bad boy.
Lone wolf.
Oh yes.
Oh, cool.
Te freaking gusta.
It's perfect
that's
for
real
when
nice.
you're sitting in your tent. You can be the
Yes.
lone wolf in your tent.
Well, no, my kids are in the tent.
Every time
Yeah.
every time Tara's like babies are crying, she's opened the back door, like, Michael, get in here. And then
I'm
and
the
then you
lone
go,
wolf.
you unzip and you go, oh, and then you
Yeah.
rezip.
That'll be so great for
That's
your
your
marriage.
answer.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of great things for your home life today. So I'll send you an invoice for this. It's I don't want to call it counseling. It's just kind of like fixing. It's like marriage mechanic. That's me.
Yeah.
Home
I
life.
like 1,500 milligram caffeine, Josh. It's really fun.
It's chaos.
Chaos factory. All right. Yeah. I was actually going to like immediately break the system here and say the same thing as Zeke. It's rated. It is a necessary part of life. And not to preview or like spill the beans on a future episode that's coming where we talk about software and subscriptions and tools like that. But I think there's an alternate reality Josh out there in the world that knew that I wanted to mostly focus on logos and only did Affinity. Like I started in Affinity, paid the one-time fee, became an Affinity whiz. And there you go. But that's not the life I live in. I've got to jump into Premiere and Photoshop often enough. And the fonts, like it's a big freaking like upsell for me.
Yeah.
All right, Ash, did you answer? Yeah, you said it's you're a fan.
I think it's underrated. I think it's necessary.
Yeah.
For sure.
Your mom's necessary.
I feel like if I said it was overrated, like Adobe would somehow
is,
hear me.
okay?
You got middle school, Josh.
Yes, our moms are very necessary.
All right. Another one, Apple computers.
Oh, I'm a fanboy. Underrated.
Yeah, underrated. I love Apple. Everything's Apple. I won't even go on Spotify because I like Apple.
Okay. Listen, guys. Listen, we're not saying do you like this thing? We're saying is it overrated or underrated? I need y'all to be critics of the industry because I'm gonna say I'm probably gonna go to my grave overspending on Apple products because
that's true. I can see what you're saying.
Right? I think they are pretty significantly overrated. Could I do 86% of my job just as well on a PC? Yes. Would that make me a sad boy and totally conflict with everything we talked about at the top of the call? Also correct. Like I'm investing in the tactile experience. I like the OS is more human. Like it's just, there's a lot of reasons, but none of them match up with the price tag and like the stats that you actually get back.
But I mean, the thing is though, is like, so I've had in my 15-year career of design, I've had 3 Macs, like one iMac, which was my big boy. Then I had my MacBook Pro. I had that for like legitimately 7-8 years. And then I just got this one like 2-3 years ago. And my husband probably in that span of 15 years has probably had about 25 different PCs. Like
oh my God.
They always give out like once a year. Like, and he's not even doing anything. He's just doing Word and the internet and they poop out. Like, so I think it's definitely worth it.
Okay. So you're arguing, a Toyota and a Kia can both get you places, and maybe Kia is an unfair comparison, but like you're going to squeeze that Toyota for 320,000 miles. And like, and I would argue the same thing is true. Like my Apple's crap out because Apple has decided they're going to outstrip my software. Like mine only die. They don't die from like mechanical issues or like blah, blah, blah. It's because the apps and everything are too strong, right? They don't just like randomly crash, and that's usually after I've been like putting that puppy to the limits for a decade. Like I've been using it daily for 12 plus hours.
Exactly.
They're workhorse. Okay. Maybe I'll come on. Did everybody get a chance to answer that one?
Yeah.
Y'all.
I will say real quick, I think it's pretty messed up when they take a product and they know that the fan people are just
we hate
it. Like the microfiber towel that was like $60 just because it had their logo, and it's like, all right, I'm not. That's too far. So
I won't buy that kind of stuff. No way.
No.
Isaiah in the comments talked about AirDrop has a death grip on my design work.
Oh yeah,
for sure,
absolutely.
That just gave me like a hot flash or like a heart palpitation, or I don't know, some kind of bodily reaction to thinking about I can't just like whoop, whoop, like between my my devices.
That's my main thing. Like, I mean, the fact that all of like I could open up my AirPods and my computer goes, oh, this is us now, and I'm like, yes, that's perfect. That's what I want. I can AirDrop it to my iPad. Good to go.
That's so true because we're in the process of getting new phones. And I was like debating for a minute. I'm like, maybe I should not get an iPhone. Maybe I should get like, because Samsung has these old school flip phones right now. And I'm like, I would feel really cool with the phone.
Ashley.
But then I'm like, no, but then the AirDrop. I don't have AirDrop. Like, what am I gonna do?
No,
and you're gonna turn all the group text that you and I are in into green text group.
No, don't do it.
Ruin it.
And I'm gonna like go ha at a text, and it's gonna go, Josh said ha ha. Like, Josh, thumbs up your message.
Those weird, like little alien Android things.
I have one friend who has an Android, and I do not text him unless it's necessary. even
You're like, I bought you a.
I don't talk to him anymore.
I bought you a beeper for Christmas so I could like just message you.
Honestly, it's one of the most genius things that Apple ever did. I mean, it's really smart. So
Ashley, Connor in the comments has said he has kindly volunteered to help your husband fix his computers, because if they're given out every year, he's probably should stop like smearing goldfish into the keyboard, because it should be lasting a bit longer than that.
Pouring water on it.
I think honestly what it is he always gets kind of just like the cheapest laptop, because again, he's just using it for email and stuff. He's not doing anything. So I mean,
no, you take care of it, keep it clean, keep it organized, spend $1,000, whatever, like comparable amount of money or less. You'll have a beefier machine than you would if you translated those same dollars to Mac Universe. Right. Anyway, we've really belabored this one, guys. This next one is kind of fresh and funky. Maybe y'all have experience with it, maybe you don't. But coaching. And I'll add as a caveat or like an add-on, like courses. Overrated or underrated as an investment in your design career?
I haven't taken a class like for many years. So, but I will say that I also have taught classes like on Pro Church. So they are a good investment. So definitely take my class on Pro Church Media.
That underrated. That was slick, Ashley. This is a great time to say thank you again, Pro Church Media, for hosting season 1 of this show and doing so many delightful things for this creative community.
They're awesome.
This logo pops up. There you go. See?
Bing bong, bing bong. This is not a sponsored episode, but I'm going to make it sound like it so that someone can know if you did want to sponsor the show, that I will use my broadcast voice and speak well of you and give nice little anecdotes.
Yeah.
Where are you at, Ash?
Oh, mine is just a mini course. I'm working on my big one right now. There's mine right there.
There it is. There it is.
But I'm working on a big one right now, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, so I'm working on, so behind the scenes secret, I'm working on like a Illustrator course for Pro Church.
You know, there's a live broadcast, right? Like, we can't like edit this.
Well,
thing
I know
out,
it's okay. It's not like that much of a secret.
It's a sneaky secret.
But like, I'm like going through these classes, and I'm like teaching about the pen tool and all these things. But like, I don't know like the technical terms as far as like, what do you say for the pen tool? Like, what's the little thing you grab? Like, I don't know all those terms.
You've got, the hotkeys and the reps, and you're like,
exactly.
What is this thing called? What is this step called?
Yeah. So like throughout the course, I just keep
I always
saying,
feel so stupid talking to designers because of that.
Yeah. And teaching is a different muscle for sure. But anyway, what you bottom boys got? I think y'all are appearing in the same way for everybody. You're on the bottom of my screen.
Yeah.
The booty boys.
Oh my God. How did you know? That's our collective name. We've always.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Every time Zeke and Mikey are together, everybody's just like, "Oh, it's the booty boys."
Yeah. With a Z. With a Z.
Yeah.
Papa Squat, come find a seat for your booties.
Zeke, you can go first.
I think so. It's a very limited knowledge on this. I think it's underrated. I think it's super vital. Anytime I see something on Instagram or I see a tutorial, I will, follow it if it has anything to do with me. If it is anything that, might benefit me, but I've never paid for teaching. But it's like that's the source of most of what I've done in graphic design, because I'm self-taught in terms of that. I didn't like go to school for graphic design. So I think it's super vital. I think it is underrated. It's like if it was the right thing, I would pay for it. Or if I just like, I don't know, if I could sat down for a second and said, I want to learn this, and I would definitely do that. Like I would probably pay for someone to teach me how to do Illustrator, because I am not about to try to learn that if I don't have to. But yeah, I think it's underrated.
Really, you don't use Illustrator at all?
Not at all.
Wow. Interesting.
No, this is
All right, Zeke, it's been great
Photoshop.
having you today. The three of us are going to carry on the rest of this call, but you are canceled.
Wait, so you use Procreate for everything? Is that what you're saying?
No, I use Photoshop for
Photoshop,
most of my stuff but it's all Photoshop. I'm so sorry, Josh. I know it is your baby,
It's
but
fine.
I can't. I've never done
wrong and a bad person objectively.
Interesting. That's crazy.
This might be like a side note, but Zeke, whenever you can, I'm just getting into Procreate. If you have any like great tutorial videos that you've used, like, bro, I need to get hooked up. So
I got
this is also a side note.
Yeah,
Procreate is very fun and intuitive.
Zeke, also a side note, I'm teaching a class on Illustrator for Pro Church, so you could take my
There we go. That's it.
And it's
That's
very
the one I'm gonna
underrated.
purchase.
So.
It's very
Once
it's very
again, thank you, Pro
underrated.
Church
He's like,
Media, for everything you're doing for the. All right. We're gonna do one more. I'm trying to think of which. Oh no, I haven't answered this one. I say underrated. And I would say both from the course standpoint and from the coaching standpoint. I have employed a coach for about 6 months, and it wasn't like super expensive coach, which I've thought about doing some of those too. I'm actually going to plug this guy here again, unsolicited. I did it with Christian Cannon, and he was exceedingly affordable. He's also like a licensed therapist, like Christian counselor, I should say. And he's worked for like big brand, like national brands you've heard of, and was like early to Instagram, has like 250,000 followers, all kinds of craziness. And so cool. he was like swell guy. I met him at Creative 24 a couple of years ago. And he and I had monthly calls, and he's just giving me a different angle and thinking about like, how does the world see you? And like, what are you saying to your target audience? Cause so much of the time we're in a bubble of like looking at ourselves and thinking about like what's interesting to us, and not packaging our stuff for, what does the end user, the people hiring you, what are they seeing? What do they need from you? What are they thinking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, great perspective. I think it's severely underrated, and most people think like I need to be X, Y, or Z for a coach to make sense. And I disagree. I think at any point that is a fantastic investment. Just finding the right coach is the key.
Yeah.
Also courses, like, yes, you can learn a crap ton of stuff on YouTube. But courses, they're either hit or miss for me. Either I'm watching like 2 sections and I'm dipping out and never watching it again, or I'm watching, one that I have done is John Contino's lettering.
Oh yeah.
I've done that one like probably 2 or 3 times.
Oh man, he's amazing.
Workshop. This is it. Yeah. It was like 200 something bucks. Like it was an investment, but like, it's fantastic. Like it's really, really good. And then other ones that I bought are like little, like $20, $30, $50 things. But they're basically like glorified YouTube series.
Right.
So yeah, across the board, underrated in my book.
Nice.
All righty. Let's move on, because this is going to be the longest episode in America. We're still dialing in. For those of you, if you're just new to the Freelance Friday show, season 2 is kind of an experimentation mode. We're trying to like tweak some levers to find out like what makes this the most entertaining, educational, like whatever you're trying to get out of this thing, show that it possibly can be. And so that might mean super long episodes, or we take sections away, we add them. We have 3 guests, we have 19 guests. Who knows what the future holds? But know that we're dialing it in right now.
We're gonna be like Joe Rogan and have like 8-hour episodes. You know what I mean?
All day.
Yeah. I love it.
Perfect.
I love it. All right. So we're going to go to another segment that's new for the show. This is where it's time to feed the beast and answer a keyword question. It's part of the show where we answer a question based on keyword research, so we can shamelessly play the algorithm games and maybe like lift this segment out specifically for that. Today's keyword question: what are your favorite design resources for graphic designers?
Design resources. Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if this would be necessarily a design resource, but where I find a lot of inspiration, and I know it's super overrated, but I love Pinterest. Like, I love me some Pinterest. I'll go on that all day.
Yeah.
I will not hesitate to Pinterest. Like it's really become a great, and it's a low key great way for like to like start dabbling in some SEO world to get more like eyeballs back to your website. Because if people like pinning your stuff, like I get a marginal amount of like I show up in youth logos now when you search, and that's almost exclusively because of Pinterest.
Yeah.
And so like that's something to consider as an easy, non-nerdy way to get into the SEO game for your business. I've got some guys here, some little answers for you here, trying to find my notes.
I mean, also, I will say I love like a good, resources for fonts. Like my jam lately has definitely been Kern Club. I am obsessed with every font that they put out. That's a huge resource for me as of late.
I am going to say that one's also on my list for those of you guys that haven't heard of Kern Club. They got a fun Instagram. It's kernclub.com is their website. And one of the things that's great to me, not only are these like unlike other styles of type that you're going to find other places, but it's all affordable. Like it's not like you go on Pangram and you're like, man, I love this. To get the full family is $600, right?
Yeah.
You're like, well, I'll never be able to use that. Good for y'all.
No.
But this stuff is all like, you're like, hey, you can't go nuts and buy the whole library, but you're like, ooh, this makes sense for this project. $10, no problem. Like it's an investment in the project or whatever. So there's a lot of cool things, very different styles.
I don't know about you guys, but I legitimately will not pay more than like $15 for a font. Like if it's cost more than that, I won't do it. Like I'll find something else.
You got a hard stop there. Okay.
Yeah, there's no.
I'm the same way. I agree.
Yeah, I think I've only paid for like 3 or 4 fonts. Like I will find a way around it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really think
I don't usually ever buy them ever. I usually do free or I do cheap.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty like frugal, like cheap boy when it comes to like budgeting this stuff. But let me encourage y'all, like similar to the bank account deal, like open up your checking account. The day that I said I'm setting aside $50 a month for me to buy resources, like $50 is not a ton of money, and that budget used to be smaller when I was making a little bit less money. But I was like, I'm going to be okay if I spend all of this on one font, and because like there's some creme de la creme fonts available for $32, and Ash is like not even going to entertain it because it is like an amount of money that you have to think about. But if you got that money set aside in advance,
I guess maybe if it was like. Because like this is my thing. I feel like it's kind of like a gamble. Like you go buy the font, you spend $40 and you pitch it for like a client's, piece. And then they're like, oh, I don't like it. And then your font, you can maybe.
And then you have a $40 font. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like, unless I'm like in love with the font, I would avoid it.
Or unless it's like a designer that I know that has made it, and then I'm like, okay, then that price goes up a little bit.
You're investing in a buddy. It's different. Yeah. You're a good person.
Yeah.
No, oh my God. That's not what I'm saying.
No. So I guess, and that's where and this comes with some seasoning, like, okay, what is my style neighborhood? Like, will I use this again for multiple different things? And I've gotten a decent nose for like, no, this puppy's got some legs. There's a ton of different weights and styles in here. There's a bunch of fun alternates. This is going to be more than one project. I'm not rolling the dice hoping this one client loves it and then they poop on it and then it serves no more purpose.
True.
I have recently had somebody, it was low-key infuriating. They were like we're going through logo process and they're like, hey, we're not set on the type here. And like, what would it look like to see it in this, and this? And they sent me 3 different fonts. Fortunately, I owned one of them, but it was like fairly expensive. It was like over $20. And then another one that was $35. And then another one that was $30.
Oh man!
And I said, "Wait, you're. I mean, it's a fairly decent sized budget project, but you're asking me to spend $100 so you can look at some stuff.
Yeah.
And I found a way around it. But like we had I like did some screenshots and kind of manipulated and just like, hey, this is what this looks like. Like, just so you know, like when we land on this, I'll buy it. We'll figure it out. But that was like,
if I have a client who comes to me and is like, hey, I want to use this specific font, like they send me the link for it, I'm like, okay, cool, send me once you buy it, send me the font and I'll
absolutely
sure.
Like, I won't go
Absolutely.
buy
I think
Every
it depends though on the type of project. Like if somebody's coming to me and they're like, "Oh, Josh, like we heard you're like the premier church logo designer," and I'm like, "Cool, yeah, it's $3,000," and they're like, "Done, paid." And then I'm like, "I need $16 for that font you asked for." Like, what did you just do with the like stack of cash I just get? Like, that's a
Right.
bad
Right.
look.
Yeah,
Now, if it's a social post and they're like, "Ashley, you have to use this or it's not good enough," and you're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
"Yeah, the budget for this project is $60." Like, and you're trying to get me to eat all of that on this font.
Yeah,
Mhm.
true.
Right.
Totally different deal.
Or
All
if,
right, this
if
is
it's like
one.
a constant client, or if it's like a constant client and you're like, okay, I'm going to be working with them for
Sure,
a couple of
it's a
years.
brand
This is one of their
font.
fonts.
Yeah,
Then
Sure.
I'm not complaining about a $30 font, but I
Yeah.
still want them to buy it.
totally agree.
See, but in my mind, I get 3 $10 fonts. That's where my mind messes with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could get like some
But I
3
could get
cheaper
3
ones
$10
for
Mikey, you just
Exactly.
said my favorite thing in the universe is not my wife or my kids. It's my Mac Mini, and I overpaid to be an Apple boy.
That is true,
And
and I don't have a comeback for that
It's
at all.
it's priorities.
well, it's a tangible thing you can feel. You get a little bit more mileage out of it. I hear all those things. I'm just picking them
I
up.
can't hug a font, so
All right, so this is another unsung hero in my mind is you work for them. It's a little bit less like you walk into creative market and it's like everything. You work for them feels slightly curated in a sense. Like it's a little bit different stuff and like cooler, if you will. And a sense, Kern Club is also kind of curated. Like the font is free and cheap, but like there's all kinds of stuff in there. And they'll have some killer deals. Like this puppy's $6, and this is like super interesting. I could see any one of these working for the types of projects that I do. I'll just kind of roll around here, and
I've
they've got
never
like
heard of you
loyalty
work for them.
reward stuff.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out. I've never heard of that website before.
yeah, that's really cool.
I haven't either.
What's another one that I've got over here? Okay, Type Wolf and fonts in use.
I've never heard of either of those either, but that's cool.
Fonts in use is really awesome.
Yeah, and these are not necessarily like for font pairing or like font ideas. So you can see like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then you go like look up the fonts later and like you're stumped. You're like, all right, this is my logo font. I need to match it with my headline font, but do some differentiation. You can kind of see how some of those play together. Jeez,
That's
I'm
cool.
dying over here.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I need to drink water.
I know I had to take a drink.
Yeah,
watching it.
Zeke, I really appreciated the emotional, the chain reaction of everybody's like, wow, Josh made my throat scratchy.
I had to take a drink.
All right, here's a pro tip for you. If you're doing this with Type Wolf, their search on the website sucks. So you do Type Wolf, Gotham. And so you type the name of the font, and then you come in here, and it's got a great little history that I don't ever want to read. Some similar fonts. And like for the heavy hitters like Gotham, they've got alternative lists and things like that. It's got a little specimen so you can see like what it looks like. Closest match on Adobe, which is super nice and helpful.
That's awesome.
And then a suggested pairing. So like right up here, you've immediately got a bunch of little like nest of stuff to pick at.
Cool.
But then here's like some visual examples. And so he's really like taking little snaps of websites, and he does like, I think like a weekly newsletter of like, here's some cool fonts around the world. So you can see like, oh, this is like, here's Gotham, but that's not at all the vibe I want. You kind of scroll down like, oh yeah, this is kind of it. You click in, and then you can see, oh, that's how those play together. What fonts are they using? What's Maple? I've never heard of that one. Okay. Maple's on Adobe. Okay. And so you easily just rabbit trail yourself into finding some cool stuff you might not have thought about otherwise without just like, scratching your head and trying to like poop out some magic.
Did you guys know that Mikey is the lone wolf behind Type Wolf? That's why he's wearing that hat.
Yeah,
he is.
He's blushing now. He's like, I can't believe they finally figured it out.
I actually gotta go.
Well, awesome, guys. Well, this has been our Feed the Beast keyword question segment. Thanks for joining us. And break. So that part gets lifted out into a separate episode. It's really just, we're raw. Like, who knows what's happening? Also, shout out to everybody who is still slogging through this puppy with us. Tara said, yikes, to any number of horrible things that I have planted in your mind today. Yeah, shout out to the gang that is still hanging with us through this enormous monstrosity of a 90-minute live show. You're one of the real ones. Guys, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. If you've got a question or topic you'd like us to cover in a future episode, you can leave a comment down below here in the live thing, or if you're rewatching this later, drop it down just in the YouTube comments. We love a good comment. Nothing like a good comment for the kids. Last but not least, guests, where can folks find you if they, for whatever reason, want to hear more of what you have to say and your thoughts on the universe? That's the most degrading setup ever, but I am gonna throw you up on the screen here, and I do really love all the amigos on here.
Yeah, mine is just M Zane Designs, or you go. You know what? Go to Zeke Tucker. That's what I want you to start. You want
no. Girls, you're both pretty. This is all good.
So pretty.
Do you have a website, Mikey? What if somebody's like, I am your dream client. What must I do?
Nope. Just say hey.
This is it.
That's one of my things. That's one of my things that I have to do too. I don't have a website either. I'm all Instagram and email.
Yeah.
Guys, here's a quick plug for a recent series that I started on YouTube is Painfully Honest Portfolio Feedback. Pull them up over here.
Oh, I saw that. I
could do the fancy thing and actually show you, plug it in the link, but I'm going to do this because that seems better.
It feels kind of weird that you thought of that when you saw my Instagram. So.
No, I'm saying there's a way more savvy way to serve this thing up, and I say no. We're gonna look it up on the screen like Grandpa.
He's like,
he looked at our Instagrams and he was like, "Ooh, some honest feedback."
No, it's not because what I saw was bad. I'm saying here's some notes on, or if you want 3 hours of Josh's thoughts about portfolios, man, I got you covered, baby.
Who doesn't?
I have exactly the ticket for you. And I'm a huge proponent of you need a website. You need some kind of website, and I've got thoughts.
I am too, but I don't follow my own advice. So
let's make one together, Zeke. We'll have a joint.
Do it. M Zane and Zeke.
What is it?
BigBootyBoys.com.
Oh my gosh! Let's not.
I am not liable for anything that you say.
Wow, I almost typed that in. That could have been a horrendous day to the.
Don't.
I'm glad Isaiah loves the longer episodes down there. I appreciate you, dog. So I guess you just message them or shout their name loudly until they hear you. I don't know how to reach these guys. These guys don't want new business.
Just shout. We will, like the bat signal, we will find a way to find you.
Hey!
And on that note, that's going to be the episode for today, guys. Tune in weekly, Fridays at 1 p.m. if you want to be a part of the razzle dazzle of a live conversation, or you can check it out on you can stream, do like I've started doing and watching long form YouTube videos while you're at the gym. Like and smash that subscribe button and do all the YouTube things. We climb we reach all 200 church creatives that care about this content. That's really the dream. We will peak at this zenith of fully saturating the market of all 19 of us. It'd be great. Ride the flaming chariot to victory. Guys, love y'all. Adios. Have a great rest of the week. Until next time. Peace.
See you guys.